I dedicate this video to everyone out there who's just like me and who wants to leave certain personality traits or patterns behind to actually grow and to see the growth. My name is Noor, and I welcome you to the first episode, which is going to be about perfectionism. Without further ado, let's just dive right into the topic. And I have my notes here, guys, so I hope you don't mind if I look a little bit down to my laptop. So first, when we talk about a topic, always make sure you have a definition about that, because my view of perfectionism could be so different of yours. So I decided to just do some research on what perfectionism actually is, and I found some definitions, and let's just start with the one from Oxford. It says that the fact of liking to do things perfectly and not being satisfied with anything less. Second one, perfectionism refers to the tendency to set excessively high standards for oneself and others. The wish for everything to be complete, correct, or perfect. And lastly, the tendency to demand of others or of oneself an extremely high or even flawless level of performance in excess of what is required by the situation. I will tell you guys my definition. I don't know if you guys see it also, but I feel like these definitions give away more of a negative look on perfectionism. But when I think about perfectionism, I think about something positive. So I would clearly say that perfectionism is just a character trait to reach one's full potential, to always challenge yourself, and to push your confidence, because these definitions made it look like you have a lack of self-esteem and you don't feel worthy, so you always want to reach the fullest. But I think it's the opposite. Like, you push yourself to push your confidence, to boost your confidence, to boost it, not to build it. One thing I have to add to my definition is perfectionism comes with proving yourself to yourself and also to others. So for some, it's just proving yourself to yourself. For some, it's mostly proving yourself to others to seek attention or to just give away, like, yeah, I can do it, and you doubt it. Like, you thought I couldn't. Look, I did it, The definitions on the internet and my definition, they all had one thing in common: the word perfect. So what is actually perfect? Perfect is having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristic as good as it is possible to be. Something absolute, something complete. To make something completely free from faults or from flaws. Perfect is just something complete and absolute, like without any flaws, okay? Let's just sum it up like this and move on to where does it come from. I think people are perfectionists to boost one's self-confidence, but I think also truly it comes with a lack of self-esteem and just thinking you're just as worthy for doing the best or for doing the absolute perfect. I think it comes from insecurities and only feeling worthy when things go perfectly. Again, there's no such thing as perfect, but only feeling worthy when things go perfectly, when things end perfectly, when you try to do everything perfectly. As I said before, I think wanting to prove everyone wrong, especially if people like talk about you negatively and say, oh, she would never do this, oh, he would never do this. You just want to prove them wrong. You see it as a challenge. And I think that's not even something negative. When people say to me, oh, I don't think you could ever do this, I feel like it gives a little like push. And I think it's good if you use it good and not use it as something that will harm you in the long term, like perfectionism does. The third point why perfectionism even exists is because people think that there's no such thing as perfect, but it's not. I think this is also the most crucial, the all or nothing mindset. I will dive into it later on, but guys, the all or nothing mindset is the worst. The worst. Perfectionists think that everything has to like go all good or they will never do it. They're like all or nothing. When they do it all, they want to do perfectly. Doing things 50% is not perfect. So why would a perfectionist do it, right? From my own experience, I would say that it comes from wanting to reach full potential, as I said before, without making mistakes, wanting to like break the impossible and do things to bluff people, and falling in love with the high after achieving it. People get runners high when they run like 20 kilometers. I get this high. Perfectionists get like this high. They're like, oh my god, we made it, you know, as like the world is yours. So you guys see, it does not come from anything really positively related, because when I say lack of self-esteem, we don't think of something good, okay? First, you need to fix your self-esteem without making your worth based off your work ethic or how many mistakes you made. You need to cut ties. This is not related. But actually, why do we need to leave perfectionism behind? When we look at the reasons why perfectionism exists, it's clear that it does not have any positive associations. Like, it does not come from someone being, I don't know, too happy with their life and striving for perfectionism, because people like being happy with their life, they're like, okay, yeah, I love my life and like that's good. But if you have a lack of self-esteem, you don't have any confidence or less confidence, you want to push it. So perfectionism does not come from something positive. But there are also other reasons why you need to leave it behind. And the first one is so important and it plays a huge role. It's basically destroying your progress. Let's just imagine two scenarios, okay? First scenario, you don't even start. You don't even start with anything you wanted to do. You know why? Because you wait for the perfect condition to happen. You wait for the perfect day. You wait and keep delaying until your life is over. Like literally, like the days are passing day by day and you still haven't done the task you wanted to do. You still haven't started the hobby because you didn't find the perfect clothes and you kept looking and looking, but life got in the way, so you always kept delaying. And what is becoming? You're becoming a procrastinator. And procrastination is far away from everything you want to achieve with being perfect. How can you connect something good with something so negative? Procrastination. There is an issue. And second scenario is you start, but then life happens and you stop. What I mean by that is, let's just say you want to become a runner, okay? You have never been a runner before, nor have you been active. So you're like, okay, you know what? I'm setting excessively high standards for myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do on my first day 20 kilometers. How could you do 20 kilometers on your first day? Yeah, because I'm perfect. Okay, let's do 20 kilometers on first day. So you go out and run, you run barely 4 kilometers. Let's just say you can't even run 3 kilometers because you're not a runner. You have never been active. You don't go to the gym. You just lay on the couch and now you want to become a runner? Chill, okay? So you don't make it, and what happens? You break up. You stop it. You stop it. And you never do it again. Oh, let's just say you try again next day, but again, it's not happening. Like, you can't make it. Or another example. Let's say you wanted to go to the gym this morning, okay? Somehow you miss your alarm and you don't make it this morning to the gym. Why? Because you wanted to go in the morning. You wanted to be someone that goes to the gym at 6 a.m. But you have slept until 8. So you don't even go to the gym at all because you're like, it should have been perfect. I should have been at the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning, but now I'm here it's 8 a.m. You could still go to the gym and make the best out of it, but because you strive for perfect, you don't even go. For you, it needs to be flawless, but there's no such thing as flawless. Like, life is happening and life is lifing. Life is doing its thing and you need to make the best out of it instead of saying, okay, not doing it at all. Another thing that I will connect to these two scenarios is that it causes a lot of negative thoughts in your mind. You would connect the word perfect with something positive, but it's truly far away from that. Like the amount of negative thoughts that come through your mind when you don't achieve things and make mistakes. For example, if you wanted to go on a run and have like on your first like 20 kilometers in and you don't make it, you have so much self-doubt. You're like, why couldn't I finish it? Why couldn't I do it? What is wrong with me? You automatically put your mind to this negative thoughts, and you just think about yourself negatively, and what will happen? You will become someone that is just negative, and we don't like negative people. You don't like negative people. You don't want to become negative. You want to become someone that's positive, and that's someone that always is happy and, you know, spreads good vibes, not for others, for yourself. So having like a negative mind is just being someone negative, and it will never bring you to a place. Summing up, we can say that it stops you from taking action. It's the best friend of procrastination. It just creates negative thoughts and a lack of self-esteem. So it's literally like you don't want it. You don't want it. Now we have our reasons to leave it behind, but how do we actually leave it behind? First, guys, shifting the mindset. The mindset is the most important. Let's just build a foundation, the mindset. Shifting your mindset from I am only worth if I don't make mistakes to I am worthy nevertheless. Like I'm worthy even if I make mistakes. Do not connect your worth to the mistakes you make. Okay? To this point, I will add that striving for perfect will cause stress. We said negative thoughts, stress. Why couldn't I make it? What is wrong with me? It causes stress. I'm not a doctor, but I think everybody knows this. Stress has a lot of connections to illness. Not directly. Like if you have one exam and you're so stressing, you will not have you won't get sick afterwards. But for me, what I can say about myself, every time I'm stressing a lot, I feel like my immune system is a little bit weaker, and every time I connect high levels of stress with low sleep, with not sleeping enough, I get sick so fast. These two conditions make me sick. I could go out and it could be cold, I will not get sick anymore. But when I have a lot of stress in my mind, when I don't get enough sleep, because both actually align, when I stress, I can't sleep properly. So connecting these both, it causes a lot of health issues. It could be just, you know, being sick for some days, but it could also have negative effects on your health for your life later on. If your health is not a reason enough to leave perfectionism and all the stress within it behind, what else is, guys? What else is? You laying in the hospital and realizing it's too late? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can actually leave perfectionism behind by setting new goals that will not cause stress while writing them down. Think about it again. Do not set goals that will cause stress while writing or while setting them. If I'm telling myself like I will go on a 20 kilometers run right now, and I make a list of goals and I write down like 20 kilometers, 1,000 burpees, guys, I feel stressed while just typing, while just reading it. Instead, I could say, I will just go out on a walk. You see how the mood changed? Chill out. With setting new goals, I also mean that making small goals that will lead to the biggest success. For example, again, the running example. You want to get into running, 20 kilometers. Okay, fine. That's not something you shouldn't do. That's a great goal. But don't expect like you will run 20 kilometers on the first day. What about doing 2 kilometers on the first day? For next, 6 on next, 8, 10. In 10 days, you would have 20 kilometers in. That's really great. You don't have to sacrifice your big goals. Just make a way of achieving them and celebrating the little success. If you go out and you run 20, or you try to run 20 kilometers, you will feel like a failure. You will feel like, why couldn't I make it? Again, making stress, making negative thoughts. Instead, you could celebrate each day with your little success, be happy, and then after 10 days, reach your actual goal. So it's a win-win. And this one is just stop comparing yourself with others. Instead, compare yourself with your old self. I don't think I need to add a lot to this. It's very clear within the sentence. Like, you made incredible progress within the years. You maybe do things now that were really uncomfortable for you in the past. That's growth. Compare yourself to your old self and see how much of growth you made. And that will put you again in a positive mind for wanting to do more. But if you compare yourself to others, you don't know nothing about others, like what their starting point look like, what their motive is, nothing, what their conditions are. It's not good for you. It's not productive for you. Leave it. No is an answer and a full sentence. If you're at work, okay, and someone asks you to do this task, although it's not like your task, no is an answer enough. You don't need to say yes just to please them because you want to look perfect as someone that can handle so many tasks. Just do one task and focus on that one. Put all your energy into that one and do it the best, okay? Do it the best as possible. Not trying to look perfect. Saying no and setting boundaries for your own self. Remind yourself that you want to do things the best as possible. As good as possible, the best. In order for that to happen, you need to put a lot of focus and energy to the task. How could you do with having so many tasks? Honestly, multitasking is the biggest cap. If you want to do something, do it the fullest. Not the way of like striving for the perfect. Do it the fullest while enjoying it and doing it the best as possible. If you always say yes to everyone out there because you want to look perfect as you could handle anything, no, it's to your disadvantage. Pass it. Accept yourself. Talk to yourself nice as you would talk to your friend. Again, really clear. Don't let negative thoughts because you made mistakes take over your mind. Talk to yourself as you would talk to your friend. You would not say to a friend, you're a failure, you couldn't do anything. You're so dumb. You're not worthy. You will never say this to your best friend. Why do you keep saying it to yourself? The last point that I have is adjust your growth mindset that you already have through striving for perfect. Meaning, accepting the flaws, the mistakes, and see it as something you learned from to actually grow. And with that, you will lead to a bigger and greater growth mindset you already have. Accepting and embracing the mistakes you make along the path and growing with them. They will actually, like the mistakes you make, they will actually lead you to the best you could be than not trying to do mistakes. How could you learn? People learn from experience. And if you try to do little as mistakes as you could, you will not actually grow and will not have enough experience to do things the best, you know? So adjust your growth mindset and embrace failure and mistakes. Okay, guys. Maybe now it's getting a bit clearer. As I said, I have been procrastinating to doing a video, to start my channel, to talking for a long time. What kept me from actually starting was my perfectionism mindset. If I have left it, and if you see this video right now, I left my perfectionist self behind because I posted this. I think that like the condition here is really bad. Like the lighting is not giving. I'm filming, not even with a camera, I'm filming with my phone. I don't know, it's just not giving. I don't really like my makeup, but actually let's just like do it, you know? Otherwise things will never happen. My old perfectionist self would have never filmed this video, nor she would have published it. And by now, I think it's published. So me researching and writing the things down about perfectionism was a way of leaving my perfectionism behind. See this as a challenge for yourself with all the information you got now and the motivation you have to become better as a challenge. Thank you for watching, and I hope it helped anyone out there. I hope you got something from this video. So I see you next time. Love.